Hey guys, it's GalahadB here, and I am back with my WotR International Tournament Top Cut coverage. This time I'm in the quarterfinals, and my opponent is MadRobin. And this matchup I think is interesting for a couple of reasons. First off, MadRobin at some point during this year was the highest rated Shadow player and the lowest rated Free People player, which I think is an amazing feat to accomplish, considering that usually if you're good at one side, you're not bad at the other side, right? Usually. But yeah, apparently she had a very unlucky role as run as Free People, and she is a very competent Shadow player, that's for sure. And in my opinion, Free Peoples aren't as bad as the stats at that point showed. So I was very surprised that she was also rated the lowest Free People player. But that has changed since, and she now is rated average as Free People and very good as Shadow. But it makes me feel that if it comes to game 3, then she will most certainly choose Shadow, giving me 2 tokens for the final game, if it comes to that. She is rated higher than me going into the top cut, because she placed at 6-2, I believe, in the Swiss portion. So she will get to decide sides for game 3. Again, if it comes to that. This matchup is also interesting for another reason. At the moment, there are 2 people, I believe, that have a perfect 100% win rate against me, with a sample size of more than 1 game being played. I believe MadRobin and Roysubs are the only 2 people that managed to beat me twice, and haven't played more than that, so they didn't give me a chance to get revenge afterwards. So yeah, for that reason, I am very hopeful that I can finally defeat MadRobin. And yeah, she, like I said, being the highest seed, gets to choose sides for game 1 as well. And she chose to go with her comfort side of Shadow. So yeah, hopefully, in the third game against MadRobin, I finally get my first win. So I'll start out with the Free People, and I get a very good turn 1 hand, blue tile, always nice. Probably not the best card you want for turn 1, but it's at least playable, which is great. Trendule is awesome. And yeah, she gets Pits of Mortar, Nautical Surge, pretty good. I get a great roll, 3 movement against 2 eyes, that's fine. And a Palantir, where I have to decide, do I want to use it now, play a Trendule and tell her to not come to Dew, or shall I not play it and keep it a surprise? And I think that's a very interesting question, because there's many different things to think about. So one thing is you want to cycle cards and want to draw as many strategy cards as you can, usually, as long as you didn't have to discard. So using the Palantir to play a Trendule makes a lot of sense in that regard. But you also don't want to tell Shadow where you can reinforce with cards so that they pick a target, and once they've committed, you can play it and they go, ah, damn. If only I had known that before, then I would have gone elsewhere. Another interesting aspect here is that I don't have an Army Muster, so she could get Zoran to war and then pressure Woodland Realm right away. And if I don't want that, then playing Thranduil early might make sense, because then there's almost no way that she would move Dol Guldur to Woodland Realm, because that would be a super risky fight, even if I don't move character Old Forest Road. So anyways, I can pass for now, and I see her not mustering Sorin to war, and I believe at that point I thought, okay, I mean, that means there's no pressure on Woodland Realm this turn, so I don't need to deter her from that. Quite the opposite, actually. I would be happy if she went that way. So I decide, let's not let the cat out of the bag early. Let's just move. And she immediately hits me, so that's not amazing. And it's a 1 in reveal. So now I'm thinking, do I kill Gandalf after that? So the good thing is I do have 2 more movement dice, so I could move 1 more time even if I don't take Gandalf down here. But I also know that she's gonna bring in Saruman this turn, so I kind of want Gandalf dead. Yeah, I'm really not sure what the best call is here. I think it probably would have made sense to not kill off Gandalf to the 1 in reveal, but I decided she got lucky here. She's not gonna hit me again, so let's take down Gandalf, hide with a Palantir, and move 2 more times. That's my thinking. So I used Strider Guide ability to hide with a Palantir, and she moves Nazgul around. That was surprising to me, because usually that's very inefficient. That's basically a wasted character die for a 33% chance to hit the Fellowship. And only if one of the first 2 dice didn't hit before. So it changes nothing for me because I wanted to move a second time anyways, reroll or not, and we can see the reroll didn't do anything. And I get hit again, and it's a 0 reveal. So that's not a good start to the game. And now I'm thinking, where do I go? Because on one hand, having been hit twice on 2 moves makes me reluctant to go through Moria. At the same time, because I know MadRobin is such a good shadow player, I feel very pressured, and with so many reveals already, I feel like I might be a little slow if I go high pass. And also because 2 reveal tiles have already been drawn, makes it much less likely that I get revealed again going into Moria. And also, since this is my second move this turn and I can hide again now, my very first action will be to move at the start of next turn, so she's only gonna hit on 6s. So I feel like there's a very good chance that she's not gonna hit me, and even if she's gonna hit me, not that likely that she's gonna reveal me again. So for that reason, I decided, okay, let's go Holland. What I didn't know is that she also has Nazgul Surge. So she got kind of lucky that she got a card that could punish me, but obviously I didn't know that. If I had known that, then no way I would have gone through Moria. So he rolls a bunch of ice. I'm not super happy about it, and I don't roll a Will of the West. So killing off Gandalf was a mistake. But I couldn't have known that then, right? So yeah, it is what it is. So yeah, I move. I get hit again. So 3 moves, 3 hits. Very painful. And it's a reveal, so that's absolute worst case scenario. Yeah. That sucked. I don't have a choice here. There's no way I'm not revealing into Moria now. What's even more painful is that this is the second eye, making it much less likely to draw an eye from the stronghold tiles. Oh well, the 1 stronghold tile. And yeah, it's a 3, so that's a complete nightmare scenario. Yeah, I'll take a random. It's Boromir, so at least it wasn't Strider, so it could have been even worse. But that is about the worst start you could have had to the game, corruption-wise. Yeah, she's doing some mustering. I move again. I get hit again. 3 hits actually, but all the eyes are gone, so it's just a 1. But it's another reveal, so this is that could not have gone any worse. Like the 3 was drawn for the reveal into Moria, and now I get revealed again. Another stronghold tile is gonna come. And it's, well, at least it's a toon reveal, so I get rid of another reveal that at least didn't reveal me this time. But that's about the most brutal start to the game that I've ever seen. And yeah, because I don't want to go up to 5 corruption, which maybe would have made sense considering mortal wound is a threat. I take another random, and this time it's Strider. So that sucked. The good thing though is, with so many reveals being gone, the odds of her revealing me again aren't that high. But yeah, man, that's super brutal. Six hunt tiles on the first 4 moves. Nightmare scenario. And none of these were kind to me. Like, I did not get a break from the Moria tiles either. Yeah. It is what it is. I definitely should have gone high pass, but it's too late to change that. So Southron's not a war. She did muster them once, but not twice, so I don't need to spend my will right away. So let's move. Though, in hindsight, moving at the start of the turn wasn't super necessary because she already had her army's position to get 2 rerolls, so it didn't really matter. And I'm safe! So, first safe move feels great. But of course, we know she has Nazgul Surge, so I get revealed. And yeah. I'm afraid of Morgul Wound. So maybe I should have just tanked the 2 and go up to 5 corruption. But then if I run into 1 with Strider still guiding, I can't take it as a random, or I risk losing Strider even less efficiently. Which is the main reason I went for the random to begin with. I'm debating here between giving her a ring just to hide, so these nasty cards aren't playable. But I decide, nah, it's only 3 out of 24. That and Breaking of Fellowship are the only 2 cards I'm really afraid of. I mean, I wouldn't love to see Lure of the Ring, but wouldn't be as bad as Breaking or Morgul Wound. But yeah, using a ring for that would be so painful. Yeah, I move armies around, and so does she. I muster the north because I have scouts in hand, so Q-line might become bothersome for the shadow, which is good for me because I desperately need more time. Yeah, and here I have some tricky discards because all of these cards are great. I definitely can't afford to get rid of blue tiles this game. I sometimes do that when Fellowship is having a very calm day, but that's not the case this time around. So these are 100% cards that I must save. Ents are great, especially with my tiny Rohan armies and me not having anything to boost them at the moment. But she might not attack Rohan, so I think the most obvious discards here would be Ents Rage and or Ents Awake and Deadman of Danharo, because I mean Aragorn is dead anyways, and Sunstrike is pretty weak combat effect if you don't have any companions with an army. But there could be a point made to discard Pass of the Roses and Deadman. Yeah, which is what I ended up doing. Yeah, I'm okay with that choice. I don't think it's a mistake. But Ents Awake could also have been a choice. Oh, and she got some nasty cards. Well, but most of the cards are great. You get them at the right time, so I guess that's fair. So, good thing I roll a bunch of movement, and I have uses for the Palantirs. Bad thing is I cannot react to anything she does. No army musters. Yeah, she says it's kind of interesting that she's +4 in eyes and +4 in characters. And oh, she means, yeah, I'm +4 in characters and she's +4 in eyes, which is unusual, and makes for kind of weird games where Fellowship does not want to rush, and Shadow is very slow with the military because they are rolling so many eyes, which makes for exciting games, I think. Um, so yeah, she goes for Woodland Realm and Lorien. Like that's a pretty standard move. Yeah, I play Power to Grade here. I'm not sure you need to do that right now. Um, Probably we could have moved first, but okay. I mean, I'm gonna play 2 cards anyways, and one of them was Power to Grade, so might as well do that now. Okay. Yeah, she takes Dale because getting Elves to War through Power to Grade would have been a little tricky, and this way she can get the Witch King for sure this turn. I move, and I'm safe again. That's very good. Um, yeah, and here, interestingly, she used the double army move to move Mount Gundabad to Eagle's Eyrie, um, which makes sense if you want to capture Carrick. Part of me feels like maybe you should have attacked into Old Forest Road and then do double army move, one into Carrick, one into Eastrune. I didn't have any mustard eye. Ah, but then you can't attack Dale. Yeah. Yeah, it was a little tricky. Like, you don't want to let me mustard Dale next turn, for sure. But perhaps the best choice would have been attack into Old Forest Road and then attack into Dale. But leaving the giant army in Old Forest Road so you can attack Carrick at the start of next turn, so I can only muster 1 unit in Carrick. Which is the same situation that we have right now, with the exception that this guy in Old Forest Road is still alive, and the North is at war, so with an army muster I can just move him into Woodland Realm. So that feels like suboptimal to me. Like, it's tiny things, but it means it's 1 more HP in Woodland Realm, and that feels a little bad. But if you attack into Old Forest Road first, I play Scouts into Woodland Realm, and then you attack Dale, you need to hit on 6s. There's some chance that you don't roll a 6, so you might have the same result. But if you do roll a 6 on 8 dice against Dale, then the Woodland Realm defense will be weaker because you miss out this leader. And I don't have the option of getting another regular in there. So I feel like, yeah, it would have been beneficial to do this differently. But not by too much. So yeah, I play a Thranduil now because I fear that I might not have the proper dice to do it next turn. Yeah, again, I'm not 100% sure if that's the correct play because I definitely want those blue tiles in, and I can probably only play these with a Palantir as well. I could have played Thranduil with a Mustard Eye as well if I roll them next turn. There's no real threat of her besieging Woodland Realm this turn. But I guess, yeah, my thinking probably was that the first army muster I roll next turn, and I might only roll one, is gonna be Old Forest Road into Woodland Realm and Iron Hills into Erebor. So I would have then need to roll another muster or character die, or Palantir die, to be able to play Thranduil. So I guess my thinking was better be safe than sorry, do it now, because there's no rush on the blue tiles. Okay, she gets the Witch King, makes sense. And alright, yeah, I decide not to move again so that she can move my followers to Eastern. Oh, actually, yeah, I was at step 1 already, so she would only reveal me. Yeah. Yeah, 5 dice on 5s. That would have been another hit for sure, and I needed to be slower. Yeah, that makes sense. I think moving would have also been okay-ish, but super risky. And so yeah, I decide against it. I think I'm hoping for a turn where she doesn't roll any eyes, move more than once. Um, okay, so I do roll enough musters. That's good. Yeah, and here I debate for a long time what I should be doing, and the choices are between using my army muster to move Old Forest Road into Woodland Realm and Iron Hills into Erebor, or use an army muster to muster something in Carrick so she can't just run into Carrick and stop me, or use my character die to move the Fellowship before she has the chance to get more rerolls onto me. Corruption is such a big issue right now that I feel like if she gets 2 more rerolls, that doubles her chances of hitting me, and I can't allow that to happen. So that's why, in the end, I decided, okay, her military is slow enough, and Woodland Realm is buffed up enough that I can probably get away with not sending the regular in there right now. And if she besieges Woodland Realm, first thing she does, then I can still muster up in Carrick and waste some more time of hers. So for that reason, yeah, I decide to move the Fellowship first, but I get unlucky and she hits me anyways. Super painful. Um, but yeah, that's how it goes sometimes. So now she captures Carrick, but does not attack the regular into Old Forest Road. So I can get him into safety, or well, relative safety of Woodland Realm. And now Woodland Realm is this giant 3/2/2 army that's probably going to cause a lot of headache to the Shadow player. Um, I mean, it turns out I drew into scouts anyway, so if she had attacked me into Old Forest Road, I could have probably retreated unless she had Storm of Bats, which she did not. But yeah, I mean, one more regular into Stronghold might not seem like much, but it's one more combat die. It might potentially be 1, 2, or even 3 extra rounds of combat with more losses. I mean, that can be really bothersome. And like the rule of thumb is you need twice the hit points of the defending army to crack a siege. So this is now 7 HP. This army is only 12 HP. So this army might not be enough to take on this army in Woodland Realm. They might need reinforcements. And like even if this army somehow defeats this army without reinforcements, they will probably be whittled down so much that taking Erebor afterwards might be really tricky, especially if I ever draw into Dane. So yeah, Woodland Realm is looking pretty tough right now. Okay, so now she's discarding Power to Great. I wonder which card is she gonna use. Wow, she has to throw away Shadow's Gather. That's great. Yeah, I didn't know that at the time, of course, but that's one of the 2 greatest Shadow strategy cards. Shadow's Gather and Corsairs of Umbar are the 2 best ones for sure. So yeah, having to discard that to Power to Great feels really painful. But it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, sure, you want to besiege Woodland Realm right now. So I muster the elves close to war so that, depending on where she attacks first, I can muster in the other region. And especially with this rule, she basically has to attack into Woodland Realm so I can muster up in Lorien. Because she doesn't have an army die, nor leadership in Dimrill Dale. And yeah, she does attack Woodland Realm, so I can muster up in Lorien. And she spends a full die just to move the Nazgul around. So she can now attack Lorien too. And now I'm thinking, is it worth spending a ring, muster another lead into Lorien? But I'm thinking, well, there's only 2 leads left in the pool, which just so happens to be the perfect fit for Kid and Chips. And I might still draw into Kelbone's GalahadB next turn if she doesn't track Lorien down this turn. And that army is so big, she might punch through Lorien even if I muster up something more. And so I decide. Wow, actually I decided to use the ring. Interesting. I guess my thinking was that with the Fellowship being so hurt, I must buy more time through any means necessary, and I don't need to rush. So if I roll low movement, then so be it. And if it means I won't make Mordor 1 turn faster, then so be it, because risking to get into Mordor 1 turn faster, but drawing an extra tile for it is probably not worth it for me at this point, because I'm so hurt. So usually I wouldn't do that, I don't think, but unless this army was smaller. But this army with some dudes surrounding it, yeah, it's. But okay, I did muster up. But yeah, I mustered 2 regulars so that I would still have 2 leads left in the tank. But that's also a little complicated because it means the first casualty I'll take has to be a regular, otherwise I can't downgrade these leads. But yeah, I mean, she's besieging 2 strongholds, and both of them are as buff as they can be. So that's some consolation to me. But yeah, I'm very worried about corruption at this point. Okay, what's interesting here is she plays Grond, 12 HP against 8. That's a little risky. But yeah, she's progressing very slowly, and for me to kill the Witch King here, I would need to roll at least 11 hits in 3 rounds of combat. That's not super likely, especially with only 1 leader. But still, yeah, I was a little surprised she would play that. Such a stronghold. But she plays Dread and Despair, so she's pretty safe. And I don't hit, so that makes some sense. But it's also good for me because I am so relieved to see Breaking of the Fellowship gone. That's definitely a card I worry about a lot. Yeah, I play Aonia. I really wanted to play that into Westernnet. I would have to discard a card anyways, so I might as well play it now. And it did help me to get 1 hit. And yeah, we have a very peaceful combat, really. She's not really hitting, and I'm also not hitting, which is fine with me. Yeah, and she's not pressing me because my army is still pretty huge. So all in all, that could have gone a lot worse, but she did hit me on that only move that I made without any rerolls. That was very, very unfortunate for me. Yeah, and here I tease and say, damn, Calibon has to wait. I need to move a Fellowship first, but I don't even have Calibon. But I know that she's anxious. If I had it, that would be really bad for her. But I don't. And I'm safe, so whew. So yeah, she tries to crack Lorien now. Because if I drew into Calibon, it makes sense to move first. But you don't want to give me time to play it now if I had it. And also she drew into Balrog, so perfect for her. And now the 6s come flying. So that's 1 hit from the Balrog and 4 sixes, that's 5 hits. Very, very painful. But I also get 3 hits at least. But now I'm down to only a single regular, and Lauren is just doomed now. So I move again, and I'm safe again. So really happy about that. Now she plays Foul Thing, and it's a 0. I'm okay with that. I mean, for her it's a relief. I can't make it to Mordo this turn. And for me, I wasn't really going to move a third time anyways. I'm just hoping that I don't get revealed going into Mordo. So yeah, that's not so bad for me. Okay, so now she's trying Woodland Realm. It's interesting. She wants to cycle cards. That makes a lot of sense. Right, yeah, and other cards really aren't that strong. I just feel like whenever you attack such a strong stronghold, you want to play something that can really help you and not play a common card that does nothing for you. And yeah, she gets 1 hit, I get 3 hits, so that's kind of what you get if you don't play something that's good for you. And she presses, which was surprising to me because now she's really risking the Witch King. Like if this round of combat goes poorly, she might have some serious issues in queue line. But it's not so bad. I get 2 hits, she gets 1 hit, so nothing to worry about for her. Yeah, now I see that she is struggling with the queue line, so I decide, okay, let's try and make it even less comfortable for her and push the dwarves closer to war so that she cannot reinforce Woodland Realm with the Southrons, or else she risks the dwarves reclaiming all of Dew. She counters that by moving East Rune to Iron Hills, which will not quite push the dwarves to war. And she does have rings, so she can attack the dwarves this turn. And in situations like that, would have been so much better if I had a token that would really help me so much here. Because I want to muster the dwarves to force her to attack into Erebor and not just ignore it. But I also don't want to waste one of my precious dice. Is mustering the dwarves and then let her besiege Erebor is really not great for me. But I don't really have anything urgent to do otherwise, so I decide, okay, need to buy as much time as I can in Dew. Yeah, and she uses a ring to besiege Erebor, which is a very good choice, I think. Yeah, now I'll play Red Arrow because I want to boost Rohan. Yeah. I think that makes sense. I'm just thinking, like when you take Dew plus Lauren, that's 7 victory points. So either you take Rohan and Edoras, or Rohan, Helm's Deep and Pelagir, or Dol Amroth and either Pelagir, Edoras, or the Shire. So buffing Rohan might not be enough. I also need to work on Dol Amroth, especially since I don't have anything to protect me from the Corsairs. Alright, yeah, and now she plays Morgul Wound. And this is so painful. I should have played this differently and somehow gotten to 4 corruption so that Morgul Wound wouldn't be this painful. Yeah, I definitely misplayed taking my companions down so quickly, and now Morgul Wound is doing all the work for her. Yeah, this was super painful. But I think I felt like, okay, with so many reveals out of the pool, like the only way she reveals me is with 1 damage and then I can always go to 4, but yeah, she did draw that final 0. so that wasn't an option to me. And now, before even entering Modo, I'm at effective 1 corruption, which is okay if I don't take another hit, but it is definitely very high and not comfortable at all. Okay, so first things first, I hide the fellowship, then I move. I get hit. Yeah, I take a random because I want to get the hobbits somewhere, and it was a 66% chance. And at this point, I felt like, okay, I have to take some risk. Like if she draws, or if I draw into Gimli, that's just really bad. But I felt like, yeah, I needed to take some risks. Otherwise, I'm doomed anyways. And it paid off this time at least. So she continues with Wooden Drum. And yeah, she's risking 2 hits, the Relentless Assault, hoping to crack my defenses. But it does not pay off. She only gets 2 hits and I get 6. So this is what you fear when you take 2 hits to yourself with Relentless Assault on such a stronghold that it might backfire spectacularly, which it did here. So 6 hits means she's down to only 2 HP, and I still have 3 HP left. So dual line is looking really difficult. Now I have the choice, do I want to try and sortie out of Woodland Realm and maybe kill the Witch King? I do roll 5 dice if she doesn't have another Dread and Despair, and I mean Grond is gone and Breaking of the Fellowship is gone, so it's only Lure of the Ring I think that's left with Dread and Despair. But if that fails, then I might set her up to take Wooden Drum after all. And so my thinking is, maybe it's better to wait for her to reallocate the Nazgul and then sortie out. Because then it's much easier to force these guys away and then muster up more in Wooden Drum. I mean, I still have 2 elites left in there. I know I can't muster anymore in Lorien, and I might not ever draw into Kieran's ships. So yeah, I decided not to try and kill the Witch King because it seemed like too risky of a move. And she instantly moves him away, which makes a lot of sense. So yeah, I get my blue tiles ready. Hmm. Interesting that I play ends now. But I think I fear that I am clogging up my hand too much. And I want to make her think that that was my only end card, so that if she ever completely empties Orthanc, that I would still have a surprise waiting for her. So yeah, now I debate, should I use a ring to guarantee getting into Mordor? I mean, the chances of her having cruel weather are about 50%, but corruption is also really high. So now I'm at effective 2 corruption, which is just about okay. And the hunt pool, yeah, it's not looking that good, actually, the hunt pool. But since I'm already so pressured for fellowship hit points and her military is progressing pretty slowly, I feel like I can probably deal with cruel weather. So I decide not to play it. And like I said, now I think it's a good time to sortie out of Wooden Realm because now she doesn't have the rerolls, can't play any cards basically. And I do get my 2 hits. She only gets 1 hit. So Wooden Realm is free again. But unfortunately, she does have Cruel Weather, which might be a real game changer because if I had made it to Mordor there, I think my odds would have been okay. I mean, not super great, but 2 corruption, like I said, is okay. Hunt pool is not that bad because I have 3 blue tiles in there. Yeah, but now that's a whole another turn. that she can draw into stuff. Or proceed military. Maybe it would have been better to try and rush into Mordor and yeah. Yeah, and this is another tricky turn because now I have to fear a Day Without Dawn. But I don't have a use for the character die other than moving the Fellowship, which I want to do exactly one time. So I think the debate here is between moving now and then maybe drawing another character card, but the number of playable character cards is pretty low now that I've already played 3 blue tiles. I wouldn't want to play There Is Another Way or Bilbo's Song before Gollum's Guide. So I feel like mustering or using it as an army muster would also be okay. And that is indeed what I ended up doing. And she attacks Dale. I have a scout card because I really didn't want to lose 1 more HP out of my Woodland Realm defenses. Because then she might be able to take Woodland Realm while keeping a strong enough force in Erebor to not let the dwarves break out. Now I move and I get hit, which is so painful. So, I mean, if you're gonna get hit anyways, then it would have been so much better to just do last turn. Some fast into Mordor. But yeah, it is what it is. But at least I probably have enough time. And now she plays Orc Patrol, but thankfully it's an eye. I mean, if that would have been any other tell, then that might have already been game. But it's an eye, so I enter Mordor on 5 corruption, which really isn't good. But it is still winnable because there's so many blue tiles in there. I just need a lot of luck now. So yeah, obviously I try to draw into as many character cards as I can because stuff like Bilbo's Song can help so much. Yeah, I also ignore Kitten's Chips because I might not ever draw into it, but I know that she's heading towards Woodland Realm, so I try to muster up as much as I can. But yeah, I want to cycle into more character cards. Alright, I make it to Mordor on turn 9, not very fast. And the hand pool is kind of swingy. 3 blues, 2 reds, but 4 eyes on a pretty small pool. And the standard tiles are not that friendly. Yeah, tricky pool. But I could get lucky. And I mean, what other chance do I have? I mean, I can't play for a military victory, so I have to try and dunk the ring. So I must have Woodland Realm because that looks like it's gonna be besieged very quickly. Yeah, I move. It's an eye, that's okay. It's only 2 damage. Not that bad. And she consolidates armies. Yeah, Candles of Corpses misses. That's a relief. And after having moved to Westerona, she now moves back to Umber. So no, damn, she has Corsairs, and there's absolutely nothing that I can do to stop it. But at least Uline is looking promising. So yeah, and I attack Dale again to force her to deal with that. Because if she lets me muster up 1 elite and Dale, that's probably enough to completely defend the Dew line forever. But yeah, she retakes it. And now I don't know what I'm going to do with my muster, because mustering Ghana doesn't seem worthwhile, because she will besiege Dol Amroth. And Ministers is already pretty buff. But I mean, military is not going that well for her, so I still have time. And I drew Arthalas, which is great for me. Yeah, and I play that before hiding because I think almost every card is gone that could hurt me. I think other than Lure. Arthalas gets a 1, that's not so bad. Kind of the expected value. She takes down Gold Emerald, there's really nothing I can do to stop that. I move and it's File of Galadriel, and this is such a huge relief. Then now I feel like, wow, this really gives me great odds of winning the game. Oh, and she attacks as Gilead gets 4 6s. That's definitely overkill. Yeah, I played Dane. And now I debate a lot what I should be doing. And I really don't know. So what I fear is she's gonna take Ministers next turn, go to 8 victory points, and then these armies can take Woodland Realm. And if I don't break out of Erebor right now, I might not have the dice to then take back Dale. Alternatively, I can try and dunk the ring. And considering that one eye has been gone, has disappeared, the pool doesn't look that bad anymore. So if I want to win next turn, I have to move the Fellowship now, or break out of Erebor and hope she doesn't manage to get to 10 victory points this next turn. Which she could. I mean, this is a pretty big army. With a single or more muster, she can make this a 5-5 army that should be enough to take Helm's Deep. Helm's Deep plus Minister is enough for her. I have no way to take anything back because this army certainly can't take back Dale. But I guess breaking out of Erebor doesn't really help me in that regard either because that army would still be too weak to deal with this army probably. So yeah, I decide to risk it, hope for a good tile here, and then I have good odds of winning the game next turn. But it's an eye, and that kind of makes it so it's gonna be very unlikely for me to, maybe not very unlikely, but it's gonna be very risky again with the corruption. But I guess, I mean, she did roll 3 more eyes this turn, so it would have been the same damage on a move here. I wouldn't really have gained anything. She plays Denethor, which is a little sad for me. Because I could have really used my companion cards in Ministers, but I don't have a will to discard it. So now I Swochi out of Erebor. She pressures Rohan, which makes a lot of sense. Oh yeah, and she plays Devilry of Orthanc and starts rolling. She gets 2 hits, but the problem is Devilry of Orthanc is not a playable card because it's only playable if the defending army is in a stronghold. And Forts of Eisen is not a stronghold. And so that means the other player gets the choice between her being able to just take her card back and then proceed with the combat as normal. But that doesn't really work because I would never play advantageous position if I knew my opponent was not playing a card. So it makes much more sense to say, and that's the second option that the other player then has, is to say, okay, let's redo the card selection process. We both take our cards back and do it again. But that means that her role gets nulled because she rolled too early. So that's unfortunate for her. But yeah, she also says that it was her fault. So and that's the most reasonable approach to it. So we decide to do that. Oh right, actually I roll and then we continue the discussion. Because yeah, at first I said she can just take the card back, and then she says, well, that doesn't make much sense because I would have never played it if she said no card. So now we decide to just completely redo it. She says no card, I said no card. And now she doesn't get a hit, I get one hit. Yeah, and now I debate between using a ring or my character die to get this army into Helm's Deep, or just muster it up more. So I can save my character die and move one more time this turn. Yeah, I can kill Saruman now, but I don't have a second playable character card, unfortunately. But this means that it's almost impossible for her to win this turn because she has no leadership in Minas Tirith nor in Helm's Deep. So I feel like I will definitely live to see next turn. I did hide this turn, so I don't have to move now. But the question is, how much better is the hunt box looking next turn compared to this turn? And considering that I've already ran into 2 eyes, I feel like it's very unlikely to draw a 3rd eye on my 4th step. And anything other than an eye. I mean, obviously I would not want to run into a red tile, but if it's a red tile, I mean, it doesn't matter how many eyes are in the box. I need to get it out of the way with, and I risk not rolling enough movement if I run into red now. If I don't move now, and instead have to wait for next turn, because then it's like I need at least 3 movement next turn. Like if it's give it to us, which would be the best red tile for me, I need 4 movement at least. 5 if I also need to hide one more time. So I decide, well, I need to get a little lucky this turn or the next. Might as well try and get a little lucky this turn and dodge the eyes and move. So it's only an 80% chance that I run into an eye. I move. It's an eye. I die. So yeah, I think that was a little unfortunate. But I mean, I got lucky that I drew file, but it was 3 blue tiles and only 2 reds, so kind of likely to run into blue. She played Shelob later on, and I was so hopeful, but then she rolled so many eyes every turn, and also drew so many eyes that it ended up not being enough. So I definitely could have played this game very differently, going through the high pass, dodging Mogul Wound by taking more damage as corruption. So I think I could have won this game if I had played it differently. And funnily enough, if I hadn't moved last turn, and instead moved once more this turn, we do the Ma later on and do 2 more draws. So there would have only been 3 eyes. She had nothing to add the fellowship, so we do 2 more. No, 1 more, right? Yeah, because that way I would have only gone to 11 corruption with the eye. With this roll, I could have hidden again. She didn't have Day Without Dawn, and then with the 1, I would have won the game. So we don't know, of course, if I had played it differently, if still the same tiles and cards and everything and rolls would have appeared. But this is a good example, I think, to show that if I had moved last turn and just hidden, no, I couldn't have hidden this turn. Would have had to. Yeah, but basically, if I save 1 move, then next turn I would have only taken 3 damage from the eye, go to 11 corruption, and then I could have revealed to the 1 and still managed to win. Yeah. But I think I made reasonable choices, got a little unlucky on the hunt. And yeah, so that's the game. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good day and see you soon. Bye bye.